Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Welcome to our channel Core Spirituality. First of all, today I would like to thank all our 5 subscribers. 5 subscribers at the inception of our channel. And I am very grateful for you for your lovely comments. One of you has said that you enjoyed my honesty, and I am very, very deeply revered with your words. You said that you couldn't understand anything, and you're just enjoying it or you're following it. I would request you that if you are unable to comprehend what I'm saying or what the script is about or what the discourse is about, we have mentioned our email ID in the channel details. You can always connect with us, and I would be the happiest person to help out everybody. The other has said that the number of views are less, and to be very honest, it doesn't affect me because the core purpose of this channel is to debunk the myths which I see every day on social media happening in the name of Tantra and all other aspects. Everybody is preaching about Shat Karmas, all other nonsense and garbage which is produced and circulated across social media is the concern, the only reason and endeavor which we have come out. We have a very simple setup. We are shooting this video through a small mobile. My younger son is compiling all this. So it's a basic thing, and the endeavor is only just for enlightenment and making and creating awareness about this video. So in continuation with our past series which we started about Bhairava. Now, last we spoke about Bhairava Tattva. I hope everybody of you has understood. I had given a small meditation practice, and I am sure and I would be happy if all of you have inculcated that in your practice. Now, to be very honest, I would today speak on a topic which is very sensitive. The subject matter of our video is Smashana Sadhana. Now, please don't be afraid of the word Smashana Sadhana, because what happens is when we think about Smashan, what we create the image which is created in our mind is nothing else but burning pyres and a very dangerous and eerie background. But please remember that that is the final destination for each and every one of us. Smashana, also known as cremation ground, for other religions it is a burial ground. So that's the last stage each and every one of us born on this planet, right from the smallest insect to the highest evolved being, everyone is going to go into that particular thing. That is the last destination which we all are going to reach into that particular thing. Now, one thing I would ask you is, like every night when you close your eyes, something very mysterious and deep happens. Now, to be very precise about that, the world which we know, are you aware that every night when we go to sleep, the world which we live into is totally disappeared? Not even a single creature of our existing world is present in that particular moment. That is the strangeness which happens to each and every one of us. We lose our identities. Your name, the basic thing. You lose your identity. You lose your emotional garbage. You disappear from the world completely. And that is quite normal, because from the day we are born, sleep, thirst, hunger, sex is common. These are the basic necessities for every living being of the planet. And yet we are not afraid of that. Why? Has anyone pondered on the question that we are not afraid of sleep? Because it is a daily and routine activity for all of us. We think it as natural. But the ancient sages, in the Tantra Shastras, have called it something else. It is a small temporary death. Yes, it is a small temporary death. It is being said that the word which is used is Alpa Mrityu. And it is common for us to think it's a very normal factor. But there is a bigger and greatest mystery about sleep. I want all of you to imagine and think about it. Now, since we have started this topic, I would like all of you to think about this particular thing. That whenever you fall asleep, I'm talking about deep sleep, REM sleep, your entire world disappears. The existence disappears. Your work, which office you work, your relationships, whether you're a father, you're a mother, you're a son, you're a husband, all those relationships, all the worries, the anxieties of tomorrow, everything disappears. Even the sense of I, that I am something. Jitendra, who is an existence of this world, will disappear. For those few hours, we are nobody. There is no existence of our things. Scientists say that the subconscious is always active and that is only for the bodily functions. That is the miracles the High Almighty has worked for us. But remember, we have no identity, no memory, and no control whatsoever in that particular void. As I said, the Shastras or our scriptures have called this as a temporary death, Alpa Mrityu. Now, every night when your consciousness withdraws from the outer world, your job, your worries, your family, everything. When your consciousness withdraws, when you fall asleep into that particular deep sleep, you enter into a very silent and subtle inner void. That is a totally different aspect, a different dimension. But when you wake up, it is as if you are born again. Everything, right? Your name, your story, your life, it resumes. It is as if somebody had hit a pause button and again it is on the play mode. So, would you call this again a sleep or would you call it a temporary death? Because you come back from a temporary void which nobody is aware about that. This happens in many cases. I'm talking about sleep. Not necessarily it will be sleep. I will get deeper into that. But our ancient sages have always questioned this particular powerful question on this particular thing. Like if you experience this death, once you understand that sleep is alpa mrityu or a temporary death, if you experience death every night, then why is there so much fear about death? That's the last destination, as I said, for every one of us. This insight will lead us to one of the deepest symbols in Tantra. As I said, and as the description of the video says, it's nothing else but Smashana or the cremation ground. Now, Smashana or graveyard or the cremation ground is common for everybody, every living being, every creature, right from the tiniest, you could say, the tiniest of creature to the mightiest of the human being or the mightiest of the creature, the biggest creature, everybody has to die. Either you'll turn to ash in a cremation ground or you'll turn to dust once you're buried. The ultimate goal or ultimate destination is death. So, why are we afraid of this death? We die every day in our sleep. As I said, Alpa Mrityu. Please remember this term, Alpa Mrityu. Now, to come back to our point, when we concern it with Lord Bhairava, everybody knows when we are aware that Bhairava is associated with cremation grounds. He lives in Smashana. And when normal peer people, even a small individual who's very much into Tantra or who's very much into spirituality, even when you ever hear that Lord Bhairava resides in the cremation ground, you have that small uneasiness within you, that small feeling of unsettling will always be there. We always imagine darkness, ash. That's the most common thing. The basic thing which will come in your mind is ash, silence, and last but not the least, death. But please keep in mind, Tantra is never literal. Every image, every symbol has a particular meaning. The cremation ground is not just a physical place. Yes, externally it's a physical place where we bury our or cremate our dead ones at the end of you could say the journey which we are traversing into that thing. But in reality, if you imagine it, Everybody has the same destination we are going to get. We are born, we live, and we are going to die. But the ultimate truth is it is nothing but it is a pure state of consciousness. Yes, you heard it right. It is nothing but a pure state of consciousness. The inner smashana, if I have to call it. Now, when the body gets burned in the smashana, it's only the physical structure, the outer covering which is getting burned. But we all have a inner smashana. Now this cremation ground where your body gets burned, it turns to ash. But internally, the smashana which we live every day, this is where your ego burns. This is the place, this is a space within each of us who have the sense of thinking, where our identity collapses, where our egos, where our prides, where our illusions of control, we think we are in control of everything, but we are not in control of anything. Everything disappears. This is our internal smashana. Our status, our successes, our failures, our images, what we perceive of ourselves is reduced to nothing when we enter that deep state of smashana, our internal smashana. Now, this is your internal smashana, which you think, I'm sorry, that is the absolute thing. Now, to enter into that smashana, it's not necessary, as I said in the previous thing, sleep. Now, there are many instances if you find people who have been drugged, who have abused drugs, who have been heavily loaded with alcohol, they have zero memory of what has happened in their life on that particular night. Nothing of that is remembered. That day, that night, that particular period of phase disappears from that life. So, isn't that the death? So, on that particular transcending phase stands Lord Bhairava. Now, this, let's coming back to our point, the inner smashana, which we are going to talk about. See, the smashana, which we talk about externally and doing the ritual worship there, it's a different thing. You need a guru who's going to guide you through that. And it's very dangerous. I will not suggest any of you to do that. But we all have an internal smashana. In the Vigyaan Bhairava Tantra, this is described as the most sacred space where your thoughts itself dissolve into pure awareness. This is a place where you attain moksha every day and every night. When you go into that particular space, when you go into that particular consciousness, when you have that awareness that that smashana is not outside, you have that smashana within you, you have that cremation ground where your identity dissolves within each and every of us. Now, connection of Lord Bhairava, because Lord Bhairava is associated with smashana and he is fearless. So, what does this signify? Do not be afraid of death. It is inevitable. Everybody who is born is going to die. So that is the reason Lord Bhairava is present there. Exactly where we are not comfortable, we are uncomfortable with death. The cremation ground represents everything we try to avoid. Even, I'll tell you, in my own personal experiences, people are afraid to go to Smashana or cremation grounds even for the near and dear and ones, afraid of that. The same transcends into our consciousness. It represents our uncertainties and fear, the basic fear of loss, endings, uncertainty times, financial times, emptiness. But in all this, Lord Bhairava stands completely still, devoid of anything, unshaken. There is nothing which can disturb or perturb him. Now, this symbolism in our tantric texts, it teaches us something very powerful but subtle. Please imagine when everything falls apart. Imagine a person who's totally gone, is totally bankrupt, is totally destroyed. Everything falls apart, but his consciousness will always remain untouched, except that worries which he has in his mind. This consciousness is nothing but the smashana, where everything is buried. It is all in your mind. It is everything in your mind. The day you realize the factor that we are born once and we are going to die only once, but temporarily, As I said about Alpa Mrityu, we die every day. And please note, this is not just philosophy. This is our daily life. This is our daily routine. Imagine when your plans fail. I had planned something else. My flight is missed. My train is missed, or any other concept you can imagine. I'm just giving hypothetical examples. Many people are afraid when the reputation is gone, what this person is going to talk about me, when I'm losing my business, if I'm coming down from the position of number one to down, when there are uncertainties in life like the period we faced in COVID or lockdowns. The symbolic creation in your mind of smashana or cremation begins at that particular point. And what do most of us do? We resist. We think that we are indestructible. We are not going to die. Now, please understand, we are just trying to build the same illusions that Bhairava wishes us to burn. So, when you are a true Bhairav sadhaka, I would wish you to do a little something different from what normal everything does. I want you to watch or observe silently. Lord Bhairava allows the false, the illusions, the egos to burn because he is the only one who is aware that everything, this physical, this mortal coil is going to get destroyed one day. But the soul, as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita and various other scriptures, it cannot be destroyed. The consciousness, the awareness, and the energies present you cannot be destroyed. Now, when you go deeper into those contexts, you will try to understand, or you have to try to understand, that the meaning of smashana is not something which is to be afraid of. It symbolizes ash, which is what Lord Bhairava is covered of. And why is Lord Bhairava covered with ash? Ash is the final truth. As I said, that is the last destination for each and every creature who has taken birth on this planet. Now you tell me, after everything what is being burned, what is left? You burn plastic, or you burn a human being, or you burn wood, or you burn anything. The last residue what remains is nothing but ash. And that ash has no identity. It has no differentiation. There might be a slight difference between the contour or the smell of that thing. Be it a billionaire or a beggar, be it a king or a pauper, all are reduced to the same ash. There is no differentiation in that particular ash. And this ash is what represents what is eternal and formless. Till the end of the time, till all the yugas are finished, what is going to remain is ash. And when Bhairava wears ash, he is telling you, I am not what burns. I, in the sense, Lord Bhairava is not what burns. Lord Bhairava is the one who remains. He was, he is, and he will always be. He is the eternal part, past, present, and future. He is the identity who cannot be destroyed. And that Bhairava is present within each of us. Now, to begin with, I would suggest, as we do in all our videos, let's go for a small sadhana. Now, you don't have to go to actual cremation ground for this sadhana. Please do resist because it is very dangerous, as I told you. It is not that a cremation ground is a normal thing for anybody. Unless you are initiated and your guru has guided you to do a sadhana in that, and you are well adept with the practices and rituals which are involved, please stick to the Dakshinachar marg which we are following to improve our lives. In our modern lifestyle, we will try to inculcate Tantra into our daily practices. So please, this sadhana is to be practiced right now where you are. You can begin it at your home, you can begin it in your office if you are free, but I will suggest it at home only because the best time for this sadhana would be at the night time. The timing which I am suggesting at night is because of its silence. This is when everybody is into Alpa Mrityu. Everybody is already dead on a temporary deathbed. So that sadhana, which I want all of you to carry on, involves very few simple things. So to be clear about, I want all of you to choose one room preferably face the east direction, or if there's a hindrance to that, face the northern direction. Nothing apart from that. East or north, please remember. The room, if it is dark, more the better. If you are afraid of the darkness, a mild light. And if possible, light a diya with a mustard oil, or people from other faiths who do not have diyas, access to diyas, can light a candle. And I'm going to say something out of the box which you might not have imagined. Before that, I want to all of you to practice one pranayama. So all of us are aware about Ujjayi breathing or box breathing as the Western world calls it. So it involves taking, inhaling, exhaling, retaining. It involves inhalation, exhalation, and retention. So you count till four. 1, 2, 3, 4. You inhale like. Then for the count of 4, you hold that breath which you have inhaled. And I want you to exhale through your mouth, making a sound. Once you have exhaled, count for the 4. You hold that exhale. After exhaling the breath, you hold it for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, they repeat the same cycle for 2 terms. In the second term, I would want you to modify that a little bit. In the second time, after finishing 2 cycles of that pranayama, on the third, fourth, and fifth time, I want you to reduce the time of retention after exhalation. What you can do is you can inhale on a count of 4 and hold your breath for a count of 6 or 8 if possible. And exhale again for 4, and do not hold your breath after exhalation. You can just get into that. Once you have completed 5 to 6 rounds as per your preferences, you can start the sadhana. I want you to bring one fear, one basic tiny fear, or one anxiety, or whatever thing which you desist the most. Bring that to your mind. Something we usually avoid. I have a claustrophobia. I have fear of heights. I fear my boss, or anything, any small fear which you want. I don't want you to distract yourself. Don't escape from this. Bring that fear. And you observe as a third party. You observe that it's a flashback which is happening of your life, and you're observing. Now, at that moment, when you're in your deepest fear or your lightest fear, whichever you want to start with, when you observe that fear, I want you to observe your breath. I want you to observe your heartbeat. Want you to observe your tension of your body, how your muscles react, how your body is reacting to that particular thing. And when you're observing that thing, I want you to mentally chant Shri Kala Bhairavaya Namaha. Now this will help you burn that fear. This mantra and this meditation will help you burn that fear. Try it out for a week and just watch. This is your inner Smashana, where we will burn our fears. We will burn our false egos. This is the inner Smashana, and this is the meditation technique which I want all of you to practice. Whatsoever the fear may be it the smallest or the highest, imagine that it is burning on a pyre, and mentally chant that mantra of Shri Kal Bhairavaya Nama. Do not add Om unless and until you have been initiated by your Guru to use that word. Om is a very very secretly revealed mantra. Everybody uses it normally, but do not. I will not suggest you. Just say Shri Kal Bhairava Nama. Now, I like to highlight that Tantra does not hide anything. It reveals something even more deeper. This cremation ground or this Smashana which we are talking about is also the gap between two thoughts, as we had said in our Bhairava Tattva. It is same. It is the silence after I repeat a mantra, as I said, Shri Kala Bhairava Namaha. Shri Kala Bhairavaya Namah. Now, when I said this mantra, there was a gap of silence between those two mantras. Now, that silence or that gap between those two mantras can be perceived as our smashana, because we do not recollect what is going to happen or what has happened between those two thoughts, what has happened between those two chanting of those mantras. It is not humanly possible for you to understand what is happening there. So that moment is where the I disappears. And please be aware, this emptiness is not darkness. It is pure awareness. Limitless, boundless, and very turbulently alive. And that is where Lord Bhairava resides. This is where Lord Bhairava is. Any doubts or any questions, you can just mail it to me. I know it can be a little complex thing, but I want all of you to practice this sadhana. This is a very important sadhana. It is going to help you out. Please believe in me. If you have any confusions, if you have any doubts, you can mail me. I will always be there to help you out. I want you, all of you, to understand this very clearly. This Smashana is not about the external cremation ground where you go and practice all this thing. This is to be practiced in the sanctuary of your home or the safest place where you are there. It is not about death. Please do not be afraid. That is inevitable. So the day we stop fearing death, we are free from that particular thing. It is about freedom. Please remember, Lord Bhairava is not about destruction. The story of origin is something which is metaphorical for us to understand. The killing of ego. Lord Bhairava is undestroyable. He is the tattva of Mahadev himself. So nothing can destroy him. So when our world shakes, when everything we know starts falling apart, the finances go haywire, your business is not working, everything. I want you to practice this thing. I want you to imagine your smashana, internal smashana. You imagine that all the things are getting burned and don't run from this. Don't resist change. Don't resist. It is also going to pass. Just stand still and watch. Become a third party observer of what is happening. Once you start doing that, the fear of losing everything is gone, because this is what Bhairava wants, detachment. What remains after everything burns is not fear. Once you are burnt out, once you are dead, nothing is going to remain. It is only ash which is going to remain. So the Bhairava within you will always want you to burn that fear on the altar of that particular smashana. I hope I have tried to explain it in simpler words and create a little awareness about this subject. And if this has changed the way you see fear and life, again, as my producer says, subscribe for deeper explorations into Tantra Sadhana, which I will try to teach you, or I'll try to guide you. I have nobody to teach you. And I would like your comments on this particular video below. I want to know, what is one fear? What is that one fear which you are ready to face? What is that one fear which you are ready to burn on your internal smashana pyre? Please give that input in the comments, and we would be more happy to help you out to clear these doubts. You are to clear any doubts which you have. And lastly, please share, subscribe, and like. And thank you for your time and patience. Om Namah Shivaya.